Hey YouTube, TheSodaCanMan here, and I'm going to make a buyer's guide fall 2016 for you guys. Hey YouTube, well this right here is the Nerf Rival Atlas. In this blaster fires the yellow balls you're traditionally to see, and it takes a 12 round mag, and it costs $40 MSRP. You might get it cheaper on a sale, but Nerf's advertised price is $40. The blaster has 80 FPS velocity claims, and is a pump action blaster or spring powered, however you'd like to say, and gives up a great noise when you fire it. And the question is the blaster worth it? And that's the point of this video. Are these blasters in fall 2016 really worth it? As they have large price tags, but they are probably one of Nerf's best releases so far, I'd say, in terms of most interesting. But this blaster is definitely an excellent blaster and great addition to the Rival series. This is a pump action blaster, and as well, it does fire 2 balls. So if you know me, I love my double shotguns, and I would definitely say this is a do-buy this year if you're restricted by Nerf's budget this year. So I would definitely pick this blaster up. And next we have up Hyperfire. This blaster is flywheel operated and takes 4D batteries, which you put in the stock. It has 90-foot range claims, and it only partially lives up to that name, as generally only your first shot can actually make it up to that range. And it's slowly, not slowly, but quickly after firing, will lose its range. So do keep that in mind when you're buying this blaster. I would say a Rapid Strike does have a large advantage over this, even though it does have a much better fire rate, a little bit faster, as it fires 5 rounds a second instead of 3 like the Rapid Strike. But this blaster does have a massive drop off in range after the first 2 shots, I'd say. So if you're going to use this, I'd fire in bursts, but it does have a great rate of fire stock, so it is still a pretty nice gun. And it does use a wheel on the top, a little rubber wheel to move the darts in the chamber, as opposed to a dart pusher in the Rapid Strike. So I would say that's a very nice feature in here, and that allows it to go even quicker than pusher in some ways, because it's a smaller system. But it is $45 MSRP. You might get it cheaper or even more expensive depending on where you're buying it. But I'd say if you have a Rapid Strike, do not pick this up. It's a cool gun, but it's not bad, but I'd say it is at your choice. But overall, it's not too bad of a gun. So next, we have the Doolin Double Dealer, aka the Plain Gun. Well, it fires 2 darts, so love it. And it can hold 2 mags in the stock, and it has no range claim, which generally gets around 50 to 60 feet, depending on if you're angling it, and about 40 to 50 if you're flat shotting it. It has 2 tactical rails, and is a spring-powered blaster. I modified mine a bit, as I've taken off the jam door and have a more powerful spring behind this. And this for pump grip, I really love it. It's super comfortable. I really love this band in the front. It's a very nice feature. It's very aesthetically pleasing gun, if you were to ask me, in the Doolin series. But it does have a very smooth prime, has slam fire, so that's an excellent feature. This thing is generally going to be $30, and if I'm correct, this is a Target exclusive. So I think it's only at Target. And it is a very smooth blaster, very well designed. Hats off to Nerf. It is a very well made gun. So I had no problems with this gun. You'll get the occasional jam, but I'd say if you're using push starts, you won't find a single issue. But 2 shots, you got me, Nerf. Okay, well next, the Nerf Modulus Trystrike. This isn't the correct attachments on here, but I guess we'll have to do. I left this at someone's house. Well, the attachments. It can fire a missile on top. Let's just pretend this is a missile launcher, and is a stock that you can use like a thunderblast, where you smash it in and it fires a missile. And it has 3 functions in this gun. It can fire darts by using the bolt action on here. It takes mags, excellent feature. And it's a bolt action, which is something we haven't seen since the long shot. The Zombiestrike long shot, which is really not a new one, so it's the newest bolt action entry, was a Centurion, but still, I'd say this is a great entry to the Nerf Elite / Modulus series. It has 90-foot range claims. Excellent accuracy, is actually accurate and consistent. I mean, because accuracy is dependent on the user. Very precise in terms of a Nerf blaster. You can take attachments anywhere you really need them on this gun. Front barrel, stock, tactical top rail for tactical sights. And for a price of generally $45 to $55, or Nerf's MSRP is $50. So honestly, it's not that bad. You gain 3 blasters in one package, and I think that's honestly a nice deal. And I think this actually might be one of the most worthy guns of buying if you're tight on your budget. So if you really want a nice gun, I would say the Nerf Modulus Trystrike is one of the best ways to go. Is this blaster fires very cleanly. Haven't had many jams in this gun. It's generally dart related when you get a jam, or if you're just being stupid and just trying to, if you're not fully priming the gun. But it actually has a prime lock in here. If you do a half prime, it gets stuck, so it won't jam. So if you let it go halfway, it's perfectly fine. So next blaster, one of my favorites, is the Doolin Impact Zone Desolator. It might be just a strife, but it's still pretty damn good. It is super ergonomic. There are a lot of mods to strife where people would put stocks in them. This is the Nerf version of it. Do I feel like they copied people? No, not at all, because Nerf just had to do it sometime. And it has 2 tactical rails, one for your tactical sights in the back, one for your tactical sights in the front. Tactical. And as for the stock, it's a bit thin for my liking, but it's honestly not bad. It's a very sturdy stock, so I guess that's more than I could ask for. As for this little angled foregrip integration, I love that in here because if you know me, in Airsoft, I love my angled foregrips. So overall, the blaster is very aesthetically pleasing, kind of rocking the almost whiteout like paint job in here. And there's a clear part of the blaster. This part's clear. And overall is really well designed by Nerf. I haven't had a single problem. It gets the same strife range claim of 75 feet, so I had no problem with it. My only problem with this blaster is it doesn't take nozzle attachments or barrel attachments, whatever you want to call them. But overall, I really like this gun, and it does really live up to the strife. And it's nice to see if they discontinue the strife that they at least brought it back as the Desolator, which I think has great modding potential. And for the last physical gun that I have here is the Mastodon. This thing is kind of in pieces as mine is somehow broken, and I don't really know what the heck happened to it, but it is somehow broken. But continuing, the blaster can hold 24 darts, is full auto, is flywheel powered, takes 60 batteries, kind of a negative aspect, and its general MSRP is going to be $90, so that is a lot of money to be shelling out. If this is going to be your Christmas gift this year for your young kid, I'd say go for it. This would be a great Christmas gift. You'll have a heck of a lot of fun with the little junior. And as for the gun itself, it is super heavy, very cumbersome. And when you first see it, it's surprising that you will not believe how big this thing is. It doesn't look that big in the box, or even just images you see. The thing is truly massive. But the thing does have a good fire rate, fires mega darts, and it's pretty intimidating if you're facing this guy off on the field. So overall, I really do like this gun. I don't know why mine broke. I think the motor must have busted or something. I haven't modified this in any way, so I guess I'm going to have to buy another one, return it, and do dirty return. But as for this gun, is it worth buying? Yes, but that's saying if you have the money. It's quite the pricey blaster, but it does look really nice. But overall, I really do like the gun. As for the next gun is the brain saw, but I'd given that away to someone, but I had it for a while. You guys do remember my review. And the gun is very fun to play with, especially the saw aspect of it. And that saw is absolutely addictive. I loved using it. It did have slam fire in the blaster, but it did have a smart AR that had a nasty function on it. As in, the first dart would get, the first top darts would get elite range, but the last darts were barely even going past 30, and sometimes didn't even go past 30. So, I guess that's quite a negative aspect. That's super inconsistent in terms of how hard it fires. So, that's something to consider when you're buying it. As for how it looks pretty dang neat, and it is a honorable entry to the Zombiestrike. Ugh, my cat's meowing. and it is a very nice entry to the Zombiestrike series, and I believe it has a rightful place in there. It is great for wars. It's pretty fun to use the little saw in there. It's a melee weapon and a blaster, so it's a 2-in-1. For 30 bucks, it's average MSRP or recommended price, and so it is a very nice blaster. And as for the last blaster, I did just do a review on it, but I had given it away to Pdk Films. Well, but it is just like the Hyperfire, it falls victim to the same exact issues as the Hyperfire, as it uses the little, what the heck, water system. Everything's happened in the basement. But it does use that little conveyor belt, little wheel system to move the ammo into the flywheel. And so it does get good ranges on the first shot, but the second shot is not so good. And I believe with some modding, it'll be fixed, just like the Hyperfire. So if you're a modder, it's not too bad. But the blaster overall, I really like its look. It has a almost crisp vector, like, appearance to me. But it just has a big, nasty looking box mag, so I guess that kind of sets it off. But if they did a single 12-round mag in there and made it look like crisp vector, you got me. You've got me. I want that blaster. But overall, it's 70 bucks and full auto, but it doesn't get that good a performance, and I think it's not really that great, and I think a Zeus will beat it any day. So I really think you're better off with a Zeus, which is generally 40 to 50 bucks, depending on where you can get it. But still, that's your choice. It does look nice, feels nice, has a very nice, it's very ergonomic, but overall, that's your decision. But that is me talking about the Nerf guns that have been released, or at least the main blasters that have been released this year. But hopefully you guys buy the right blasters this year, and hopefully you guys have a heck of a lot of fun with them like I have.